Welcome to Actors Quarantine. I am in my closet and I've set up a half makeshift sound recording studio. So just so you can see kind of what it is that we do for the craft that we love. An umbrella. I set up a shoe rack for my computer. I've set up another umbrella, and then I'm using two of my studio lights to try to do some sort of sound work because I actually don't have any soundproof stuff. And we have some lovely drapes in our closet. If you can see, it's just my green screen. We just have the white scrim up. Actors in quarantine. Hey crazy cats, thanks for joining me again and welcome back to Kal TV. I hope you enjoyed the first episode. It was definitely very fun to make, albeit was very rough at the same time. Like many of you, I have to deal with perfectionism a lot. I'm a Virgo ascendant, and a lot of the things that I do, I want to make it. I want to plan for it and make it absolutely perfect, and then I can do the thing. And I realized that when I have that mentality, like days, weeks, hours, sometimes even years go by, and a project is still just not done or hasn't been touched, and it's because of that perfectionism. And so, some wisdom from my partner Rose was, just do it badly. And so that is why I named that the title of my first show, was so that I could kind of get out of my way, stop holding myself back to creating my own YouTube channel, which is something I've wanted to do for years, and to just do it. And if I had the expectation that I'm just going to do it and I'm just going to try it, then I'm going to get it done, and it might come out better than I thought. Or, obviously some of my audio is a bit out of sync and all that stuff, I realize, but it's a milestone for me. I did it, I got out there, and now I'm able to create some more content for you all. So thanks for joining me for episode 2. I'm really excited to get this show going. Welcome to Bite-Sized Astrology. This is a new segment on Kal TV where I talk to you big complex systems and definitions and things about astrology and make it bite-sized for you in 60 seconds or less so you can understand exactly what it is that we're talking about. And today I am at the LA Griffith Observatory. I get to call this my new home, not the observatory, but the city. So grateful to be here, and what a perfect place to talk about astrology, as a place that observes stars. So today's episode, what is astrology? Astrology just means science of the stars. It is the patterns in the sky that we've observed, and we notice that when certain things happen in the sky, certain things happen on Earth. And we use astrology as a predictive tool, a code, and a language to understand who we are as individuals and what our purpose is and how we'll go about fulfilling that purpose. So that's today on Bite-Sized Astrology. Thank you so much, and thanks for sharing with that. Yes, we moved to LA. Woo! I know it's a little bit crazy. I was born and raised in Colorado my entire life, and I've been wanting to come to California for a long time now, probably ever since I was 15 years old, and that's because I was born to be an actor, and one of the reasons why I didn't want to come out here for a while was because it sounded too cliche to for an actor to want to go to LA, but this is where film happens, and so I always wanted that for myself and to dabble in that world and just collaborate and just make films, make movies. That's what I did ever since I was a child, was just make movies. And I always found reasons not to. I always found excuses to hold myself back from moving out of state. It's not realistic to be an actor, or moving across the country, it's very expensive and it's tricky, and I have no idea what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. And me and my partner, our lease was up in our apartment up in Boulder, Colorado, and we just said, you know what? Let's just
pack everything in the U-Haul and let's just drive to a coast. A lot of challenges, a lot of fears came up, a lot of scarcity mentalities, fear mentalities, all that kind of stuff kind of came creeping up. And so we just got in the car and said, you know what, we're just gonna do it. Let's just see what happens. Let's face our fears and let's just get out there and do it. And it was quite the adventure. I'll have to tell you about it sometime. So yes, so one of the things that I like to do on this channel is I like to do a little bit of a question session. And the first episode, I asked my friends, I said, what is something that, you know, I could ask that you've always been curious about, or blah, 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 or you can just ask me random questions and let me answer them for you. And I ended up getting like maybe 2 or 3 questions. So this time what I've done is I've looked up some fun questions. This is on BuzzFeed. It's people all around the world submitted questions or tweets or whatever on questions that they had specifically for Americans. And me being an American, just because I've been born and raised here, I'm going to go ahead and answer some of these questions. So let's see how many questions I can answer. And yeah. Do Americans actually say words like jerk, or is that just something that you say in films? Actually, Americans do say jerk and other words that are of that nature, but we say it more so under our breath so that no one hears us, except maybe our close friends, because they might think it's funny. All right, do Americans actually stand up and salute to a flag every day at school? You know, this is actually something that I have been wondering myself. Things could be different now in school. I don't know. But I can tell you that when I was in school, yes, this was actually a thing. And to be honest, yes, every single day, at least from my experience growing up in the Midwest, literally from kindergarten all the way through senior year of high school. And obviously, if you're in Europe or Asia, you might not know what that means. So about the time I was 5 years old till about the time I was 17 years old, all of that schooling, I pretty much every single day had to stand up, put my hand on my heart, say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag, or listen to the national anthem. And yeah, it's kind of brainwashing when you think about it. There's no problem with having a lot of pride for your country and being very proud to be where you're from. Totally get that. But yeah, I wouldn't say it's a healthy thing. Do Americans actually have school mascots? Yes, they do. Do Americans actually call teachers or their parents, their friends' parents, by their last name, such as Mr. So-and-so, Mrs. So-and-so, or Mrs. So-and-so, and now Mix So-and-so? Yes, this is actually a thing. If you are going to school in America, it's usually always appropriate to refer to your professors or teachers. We don't even use the term professor or instructor. We just say teacher. Everyone's a teacher. But we always call them Mr. Sullivan or Mrs. Lansbury or Mix Woodzik. That's just kind of just what we say. And for parents' friends, for our friends as parents, I don't know if this is just across the board, but I was raised to, yes, you call them Mr. or Mrs. Rodriguez or whatever it is, unless they tell you, call me Dave or something like that. Or if you establish some type of friendship rapport, then you can call someone by their first name. It might be the only thing Americans do that's kind of formal. Anyways, do Americans actually call people losers or use the term lame unironically? Yes. In my experience and just what I've seen, I don't think I've ever heard anyone call someone a loser to their face. It's usually in reference to somebody like, oh my God, what a loser. I'm sure this happens. I'm sure people actually call people losers. But yes, the word lame is actually used quite a bit. Not so much anymore, but yes, we'd be like, oh, that's a lame. Yeah, yeah, you got it. So do Americans actually eat bacon with their fingers? I mean, what else would you eat it with? Do you actually call it hot cocoa? To be honest, I don't like hot drinks, so this probably doesn't apply to me, but I actually more times hear people say hot chocolate. It's very weird. I don't, not to be judging, but it's very strange for me to hear someone say, "Hey, you want some hot cocoa?" It's usually hot chocolate. So, do Americans use the microwave to heat up water? I'm not sure what exactly this question is. If it's like we want to heat up water and so we put it in a microwave, or this might be in reference to a kitchen hack that sometimes we do here in America, which is we put a small cup of water in the microwave, nuke it for about 30 seconds, and it kind of puts some moisture into the microwave. And so if you put anything in there like breaded things or French fries or leftover pizza, it actually keeps it fresh. So yeah, that is kind of something we do, but we kind of use the microwave for everything. Anyways, do Americans actually decorate their lockers? So there's a lot of questions about school here, and I might not be the best person to answer this because I haven't been to school for a few years, but I have to say that I don't think this is true. I don't think this is a thing. There may have been a couple of circumstances that I may remember, maybe particularly in middle school, which for you who are not from America, middle school is ages 11 through 13, 6th through 8th grade. But there might have been a couple times in 8th grade when I was 13 years old where I knew a couple of girls that might have had a couple pictures or like a mirror in their locker or whatever. But for the most part, decorating your locker is not a thing. And if you actually took school seriously, or maybe this was just me, but there was no space in the locker for a bunch of nonsense. It was pretty much just shoved with tons of books and your backpack and things that you just didn't want to carry around the school. So if you're an American who actually decorated your locker, feel free to mention it in the comments and just tell me that I'm full of it. But from what my experience is that's not a natural thing, and you do see it more often in TV and film than you do in real life. Do Americans actually eat PB&Js, or is this some kind of inside joke? So yes, Americans do eat PB&Js. In fact, they love them. Me, I am a weirdo. I do not like PB&Js. I find them disgusting. But I mean, I'll eat PB&Js if I'm starving because it's cheap, it's quick, and there is some kind of protein, but it's sugary, and most Americans like sugar. But I will say yes, a lot of Americans do eat PB&Js and they love it, and they'll even sneak things into there like honey or bananas or whatever sometimes. So yes, do Americans have garbage disposals in their kitchen? Like the things that cut things up. Yes, we all have garbage disposals. Is this not like a thing for other countries? Yes, in America we all have a garbage disposal. It's this little hole in the sink of our kitchen that if food gets stuck down there, we can just turn it on for a second, and it's blades that kind of cut it up and things like that. Yes, you see them more so in horror films when someone drops something down the garbage disposal and then they stick their hand in there and they play the ominous music as if their hands are going to get ripped off. I've never seen that happen. Do Americans actually memorize the last 4 digits of their social security, or is this just something that is used in TV for time purposes? Yes, we do. Do Americans eat pizza with ranch? A lot of people don't. Depends on the pizza. I will dip it in some ranch. Freaking delicious. Do Americans actually go through whole tests that are all multiple choice? Yes, and they're all a bunch of BS, and they don't mean anything. And it's basically, if you look at the schooling systems here in America, we're all bred to be employees, and so a lot of what happens is we get fed just all this information that we just have to memorize, and the schools have to meet a certain requirement of kids that can pass a certain whatever, and so they give you an exam at the end of the year that's literally just like 15 pages of multiple choice in some written form, and you literally have like an hour to do it as quickly as possible and get as many as you can. And then they give you a score, and if your school falls above a certain score, then you're a good school. It's total BS. It doesn't mean anything, but we all suffer through it. And last questions. Why are Americans obsessed with ranch, and what even is ranch? I love this question because I love ranch, and I am probably the stereotypical American who loves ranch. So an easy way for me to explain this for anyone who is not from the United States Just think of it as fancy mayo. It's basically just like a mayo with buttermilk in it. It's delicious. You know, you go to Europe and people give you mayo on everything, with your fries, with your burgers, with your hot dogs, with your fish and chips, whatever it is. It's always mayo or some kind of aioli, which is a fancy mayo. This is the same thing. It's just our version of mayo. Yes, we still eat mayo. Yes, we separate the differences between mayo and ranch. But most people don't know that the best ranch is almost 60% mayo, and with just some buttermilk attached to it, because we're Americans, and apparently Americans are obsessed with everything that comes from a cow. Anyways, yes. So there's always a portion of this show where I like to kind of teach something. I have my Mars and Gemini, so I'd like to share some things that I learn and some things that I think that would be helpful. And so for today, I wanted to do a little bit of lesson for our cooking extraordinaires out there, or anyone who loves cooking. So yes, me and my partner, we love to cook together, and we have a way of trying to find out different things that we can make that are like kind of gluten-free, dairy-free. They're kind of allergen-free, but they're like still super delicious. Not that I have any allergies. I was gifted with a golden stomach, but yes, my partner has a lot of allergies, and so we like to try to find things that we can make that are delicious together. So I'll go ahead and give this video to you, and I hope you enjoy, and I hope you'll make this dish and let me know what you think of it.
Good morning.
Good morning. It is Sunday, and on Sundays, me and my partner usually like to make some type of breakfast together. We have found the most delicious eggs Benedict that you will ever have that is gluten-free and is a very, very healthy option. We're going to start with a bit of a sweet potato. And I personally am not a big fan of sweet potatoes, so what we do is we go ahead and get the Japanese sweet potatoes. Alright, so we've got our potato peeled, and then what you're going to do is you're going to want to get a red onion, purple onion, whatever you call it. You are only going to use about half an onion, so go ahead and just peel it, slice it in half. So if you have a grater, just do this, and all we're going to do is just shred the sweet potato. And if you have noticed, I am not cutting on a wood board, nor am I cutting on a glass cutting board. A glass cutting board, you should get rid of it because it's dulling your knives, and if you have a wood one, you shouldn't probably cut meat or anything like that onto it because wood is an absorbent. Alright, go ahead and get a pan. Go ahead and set it on medium. You don't want a pan to heat up with nothing in it, so we'll go ahead and put some drizzles of oil. Sprinkle a little bit of Himalayan sea salt. Yeah, then I'm going to slice up a clove or two of garlic. Woo! So we've got the potatoes and onions in here cooking. I just went ahead and just mixed it up. Usually, sometimes you put the onion in first and let it cook a little bit in the oil, and then you can add the potato. I just kind of just put it all in. Anyways, I'm going to go ahead and put a little crushed red pepper on the top. Alright, we got the pepper in there. And then here's a little trick on doing the garlic. So garlic is pretty difficult to peel sometimes, so if you just go ahead and take the flat of the blade, if you just crush it, it makes it a lot easier to peel. And as you can see, it just comes right off, and boom, baby. And I went ahead and added the garlic to the mixture. I didn't put the garlic in before because I didn't want the garlic to burn right away, as it sometimes can do. Alright, so when the onion starts to look more translucent and the potatoes are more gold, or a little more golden white, we're going to go ahead and turn the heat off. So what we're going to do is we're going to stick this potato onion mixture into this egg, and we're going to get this all egged up. We've went ahead and get some cage-free organic eggs, and we do about 1 large egg and a half. And I say 1.5 because we use 1 whole egg, and then the second egg, we just use the egg white, and we use because we're going to save the yolk to do the quote-unquote Hollandaise Sauce. And usually I like to just get my hands in here, and I like to just move it around myself and just kind of squash it around and mix it up with my hands, because the more you touch your food, the more love you put into your food, and the better it tastes. However, just because I need to say this for people who may not think about this, this just came out of the pan, so this is scorching hot. So I'm not going to dig my hands in here right away because, yeah, I'll just burn my hands. This is also a perfect moment to talk about hygiene. If you're going to cook, make sure you put your hair back, wash your hands. Also, if you need to touch your face, just use your arm or your elbow. And anytime you do find yourself touching your face or your hair, or you're touching anything else that may not be sanitary, just go ahead and wash your hands. All right, so we got our mixture. I went ahead and waited until it was cool, and then all I did was I put my hands in and I kind of just mixed it up. So I'm gonna come back over here. We're gonna put more oil. We're gonna turn this bad boy back on. Note, while making delicious food, you may be visited by your pets. All right, so for this mixture, in order to get your patties, I like to use a spoon usually, or a ladle, I should say. And this mixture should make about 4 to 5 little, quote-unquote, Benedict English muffin things. So what I usually do is I just like to kind of scoop out just about a spoonful of it. And then I'll go ahead and morph this with my hands to form a patty. Now, just to give you a little tip, when I was forming them in my hands, I had to make sure that the outer edges were pretty condensed, so that when I went ahead and kind of just flopped it into the pan from my hand, the edges didn't kind of break apart. So those are going to go ahead and be frying. We're going to make sure to leave them for a good while because you want a nice crispy base. So if we pull them off too early, then they won't flip, they'll just break. Alright, so my partner Rose isn't feeling up to be on camera right now, so we're gonna go ahead and just keep it up real with the showing the food. So she's gonna show you how, the perfect way, absolutely no mistake-free way of getting these eggs in here. So she put a little bit of rice cooking wine.
Just needs to be white vinegar.
In the water, just a bit of white vinegar. It helps form these little eggs without getting them stuck to the bottom of the pot. Give it a nice little hot spring bath, and then we use this little ladle, this little drain ladle, to kind of lightly move some of that egg white over so that it kind of wraps the golden sun of the egg into this little warm little cocoon. Okay, so as you can see, I think we're about ready to flip these, because if you can look down in the bottom, you see that browning going on the very bottom. So we're going to put the spatula under, and it should look just like that. Oh my gosh, professional chef Rose for the win, baby. And this is actually our substitution for the English muffin. I personally don't like English muffins, but with my partner being gluten-free and this just being a healthy version of this Eggs Benedict to our own creation, this is just by far the most delicious, one of the most delicious breakfasts I've ever had. At this point, as the eggs are forming and the patties are frying, we like to sometimes go ahead and turn on the oven. Go ahead and bake, and while that's heating up, the reason why you want to heat up your oven while you're making Eggs Benedict is sometimes it's hard to time exactly how long it's going to take for all this stuff to cook. And so if you need to, you can turn on the oven and put some glass plates into the oven to keep the plates nice and warm. So we'll pop this onto the plate, we'll put them in there to keep them warm. And then what I like to do is I like to take some of the cheesy cheese and I grate that over 2 of mine, and then put those in the oven and let the cheese melt on it before I put the egg on. And we are done boiling our eggs. Oh, you kind of get a slightly golden orange color coming through the egg to let you know that it is cooked, but it is not going to be overly cooked. If it's yellow or you start to see it to be super hard, then that means that you've got a hard-boiled egg, which you don't want. That means it would be overcooked. But when you get a little bit of pressure and you get that orange, you know that the yolk is just perfect. All right, there it is. There is the Hollandaise Sauce. And this is where the magic happens. So, if you're making the aioli yourself and you're thinking, why isn't this working? You want to do equal parts lemon juice to your egg yolk ratio. And then as you put a little bit of olive oil in there to start up the mixture of the egg and whisking it together, because you want it to be a little thick. And then as it starts to thicken, then you can add something like avocado oil to kind of cut some of that pungent flavor from the olive oil, and it kind of helps it get that fluffier kind of
nice mixture that you want an aioli to be. And then once you have the thick aioli, not too thick, then you put in your dry ingredients of whatever it is that you want to flavor it with.
You go ahead and you take your patty, potato, onion, garlic mix, and then what Rose likes to do is she likes to put a thin layer of this organic pesto that we get. And she kind of smushes it on there. And me, I need to get my cheesy cheese out of the oven. And I just put a tiny bit of pesto, and I'll put that on mine. Oh yeah, that looks great. Sometimes, if I'm feeling a little adventurous, I'll do a drizzle of balsamic glaze on there, and it's so freaking good. Quick avocado hack. It's easier if you slice it across while it's in the thing, and then using a spoon or fork to scoop them out into these slices, and they come out really easily and they look beautiful. Bonus is that they can also hold the egg in place. Oh yeah, baby. This is like food porn. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Just so you can see the inside of the egg real quick. This is what the yolk should look like. Not too runny, not too thick. Oh yeah.
They're so good. They're so delicious. And it's funny because I actually used to hate eggs. I used to not like breakfast foods almost at all. I've grown into a fondness for eggs Benedict, specifically when me and my partner make them. I don't like English muffins, but just like that kind of poached egg with just tons of sauces on it, and it's so good. One of the things that I'd like to do now is I'd like to make this show also be a part of me kind of helping my friends and my loved ones and people that I collaborate with get their work out there and things like that. And if you have anything that you'd like, this is the perfect place for that, because I'm not a big fan of advertising. Clearly you can't even get away from ads. Everything's always trying to market to you a bunch of nonsense and a bunch of crap that you're not even going to use it, that you don't even want. But there is something of word of mouth and networking that goes a long way. And so I'd like to just take a moment to introduce to you a very special friend of mine, and actually my best friend and my partner. This is Rose Metcalf. So Rose Metcalf she's a genius, and she's a genuinely caring and loving and nurturing soul. She's a gift, and she is one of the greatest gifts that I've ever met that's walking this earth. She's literally a live angel. But she has a business through Metcalf, and this is her website. But anyways, she does amazing transformational work with women specifically, but she just works with the feminine energy and kind of bringing out the feminine energy in all of us, and kind of allowing us to go into a state of rebalancing. Because as we know, most of the problems that we have in this world, it's because we are out of balance, or we're not in alignment. And we've been in a heavily patriarchal society for way too long now. And this patriarchal society and this capitalism and all this, materialism and consumerism, it has led us to the point that we are at right now, where the world is basically being destroyed. We are overfishing and killing all of the sea life in the ocean, which is a part of what keeps the balance on this planet. We are cutting down more trees than we can grow and things like that. And at the same time, we are still not at a point, even in the 21st century, where women have been able to stand up and take more leadership positions, more leadership roles, get paid equal pays, and have that kind of equity. And so she kind of helps a lot of women find their power, find their strength, and she takes them from victimhood into victorhood. She kind of gets them out of their own head, gets them out of their own way, and kind of works with them on a one-on-one basis, and also in groups as well, because women thrive in community, and they thrive in this collective unity. But anyways, she's an amazing coach. She's this feminine empowerment coach. She's this energy coach. She does amazing work, and I've seen a lot of progress with her clients that she's had as little as in like a week to 3 months. But anyway, she has some spots open for her coaching program right now. And so if you'd love to even just check it out or see what it is that is, if there's anything missing in your life, or if you're a woman who feels like you're stuck and you don't know how to get unstuck, and you just feel like there's something missing, or like you're in alignment with the universe or whatever that is, she really helps you get in touch with what that is and helps you create some kind of tangible, practical goal, while also allowing you to detox your mind, body, and soul, and belief systems, and mindset, and manifestation, and just, it's amazing work. I clearly, it's not my expertise, but you should definitely check out her site. It's beautiful, and she is an amazing coach, and she does have about 6 slots left. And so if you're a woman out there and you know that something needs to happen and you're waiting for that person to kind of tell you exactly what's going on and how you can move forward and how you can be the best version of yourself and why you deserve the best life possible, definitely check her out and let her know. It's Rose Metcalf. Anyways, thank you for joining me for this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. If there's anything that you have, any questions, comments, or concerns, just let me know. I'd love to hear your thoughts and ideas for the show. I'd love if you'd like to be on the show, if you have any work that you'd like me to showcase. I'm all for making dreams come true, because there is no more tomorrow. There's only today. You don't just wake up with motivation or just wake up with energy. You don't just have inspiration. You do things that motivate you. You listen to music or talk to people who inspire you. You do things that energize you, and it is the doing, just making yourself just get up and do it, and facing your fear is what gives you the traction and the momentum to keep going on with what it is that you want to accomplish. And you'll be surprised on what you can accomplish when you just set your mind to it. Thank you again for joining me for today's session. And I'd like to end the show with something a little bit special to my heart. I've had a lot of you ask if I can sing and if you can see me perform something. And so I've decided to sing something with a recommendation of my good friend Holly. She said, sing something that you love and not just something someone else wants you to sing. And so for my first performance, I'd love to leave you with is Man La Mancha, a dream role of mine when I'm an old man. This is to dream the impossible dream. I hope you enjoy, and we'll see you next time.
To dream the impossible dream, to fight the unbeatable foe, to bear with unbearable sorrow, to run where the brave dare not go, to right the unrightable wrong, and to love pure and chaste from afar, to try when your arms are too weary, to reach the unreachable star. And this is my quest, to follow that star, no matter how hopeless, no matter how far, to fight for the right without question or pause, to be willing to march into hell for a heavenly cause. And I know if I'll only be true to this glorious quest, that my heart will likely still and calm when I'm laid to my rest. And the world shall be better for these, that one man scorned and covered with scars still strove with his last ounce of courage to reach the unreachable star.